We are live.
I am watching now. So that means we're live on Twitch. Welcome back or welcome front if it's the first time joining us. I am Joshua with Weird Gaming Adventure. And with us, we have Gospel of Gospel. And together we are the Weird Gaming Gospel Pod. Gospel, who else we got today?
Well, we've got Hsskor of Claw. He's the guild leader of Claw. And then we have Gozer of Claw, who's an officer. You want to tell us a little bit about yourselves? We'll start with Hsskor.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Hsskor, leader of Claw. Played on live as Hsskor, so I've been Hsskor for a long time. Working through the Claw Squadron Guild on Restoration 3. And this is Gozer, my main guy, my senior officer.
What's up, y'all?
How's it going?
Gozer and Hsskor. Okay, we have fire department going by. Yes, I get there's an emergency out there, but there's an emergency in here too. We're trying to do a show and you're creating an emergency. Thanks a lot, guys. Okay. Let's talk about your guys' past, your history with Star Wars Galaxies. Let's start with Hsskor. How long have you been playing?
Great question. So I've been here since nearly the beginning. I missed out on the original beta. That was actually one of the draws to come into Restoration. It's like, oh, I get to do a beta now, finally. But I started shortly after launch in 2003, kind of wandered around guildless for a while. Got picked up by some Imperial guild I don't even remember at this point, worked with them for a little while, and then eventually kind of reformed with some buddies of mine, and we started Dosh, which was an exclusively Trandoshan guild. And we did that a little bit before the combat upgrade. So we kind of went into the combat upgrade with our Brotherhood of Trandoshans, and I played through till nearly the end. Once they added atmospheric flight, I was kind of out at that point. And yeah, ever since then, I've kind of had a gap in my gaming for a while. Played a little bit on some other emulators, didn't quite stick a landing until finding Restoration 3 and finding a new place to kind of start up a guild again and meet with some old friends and kick things off.
That's pretty good. I like that. How about you, Gozer?
Yeah, I started playing the game right at launch. I learned about it. I didn't get in the beta, but I knew about it well before the beta began, and I was obsessed with this game before it came out, gobbling up all the news. And I played on Starsider at launch, the same server as Hsskor, and I was in an all Wookiee roleplay guild that was Hsskor's. We were Nemesis all the way back in 2004, 3, whenever that was. And I played all the way up until the CU, and then quit right before that, just out of, I think I was playing WoW at the time.
So,
And go ahead.
oh no, please. I thought you were done.
No, that's it.
So you guys knew each other in game on the same server. How did you guys end up getting together in this server? Was something that you've kept in touch with each other, or just
No, I mean, I saw Hskor's recruitment post back in the beta, and he mentioned he was from Dosh, and I've been playing the EMUs for a while, a bunch of different ones, looking for like a role-playing community. And I saw that he was the leader of Dosh, and I used to have a lot of fun role-playing with his guild back in the day, so I figured he was the motherfucker I got to get with to get some roleplay going with, and of course, it's been great.
all right? There's a lot of role playing jokes with that word, those two words, mother effer.
This was never mind. It's not going to sound good either way now.
Go with it. It's a weird gaming gospel pod.
It certainly is. Yeah, it was really cool actually, because I kind of like stumbled upon Gozer in the test center, and for those of you that played with me back then, I was hardcore recruiting. I even tried to recruit Gospel here and get him to switch over. And yeah, it was funny. I ran into him, and we just started speaking and talking through it. I'm like, oh, you were my arch enemy. I remember you.
Did y'all?
That's hilarious.
did y'all PvP back on Starside, or did y'all PvP against each other?
A little, yeah. Not a lot. So with we were kind of discussing a little bit of this before the podcast actually, but we had kind of like a mini guild war going, but it was mutual, right? So my guild Dosh and Sheerwook, I believe it was for the Wookiee guild. We had kind of some planned events where we would fight, but we weren't really hardcore. At least I wasn't a hardcore PvPer back at that time. I don't know about you, Gozer, if you had more encounters. But...
I mean, yeah, I PvP'd back in the day, but I was terrible. So, I mean, those PvP battles we had, we dueled and stuff, and sometimes we were over, but it was more or less about not killing each. I mean, it was more about progressing a story than just like killing each other. So it was a little bit different than just running around buffed with Muon Pixie, T21 and shit.
We fought over bragging rights on Loke, mainly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So like y'all actually had like you guys I don't know, like recorded like the history between the guilds and like your interactions and stuff. Like that was like that knowledge was like
yeah. We have like stories or like
I wish we filmed it. We weren't so we weren't just conscious back then about taking record of it, but we had some for those that went to like the Rory Swamp Town event where we had kind of the storyteller tokens, the AT-ATs, that sort of stuff. We did similar themed events, but it was just Trandoshan versus Wookiee as opposed to Imperial versus Rebel.
That's actually pretty cool. Like it's like so it's like when I get like you guys would actually remember each other's like role play actions, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of like whenever someone DBs me in PvP or something and I remember it, I'm like, yeah, fuck that guy.
No, you're not supposed to remember. You're dead now, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But we're not role players.
See, I've got to get into the mindset.
Gospel like takes his lipstick out and he like writes the name of the person who death blowed him, like puts him on his hit list.
All right, that works.
Billy Madison style. That's actually how Gospel and I we didn't even realize that we were on the same server, but we'd been hanging out with each other for forever. We did the show and we realized like on the show that like, oh, you were like
yeah.
You were that guy,
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the
same guild for a while.
That's one of the coolest and best features about the getting on an emulator like Restoration 3, right? You might run into some old friends and it sparks a cool time.
Yeah, that's true. It is a weird feeling or like a cool feeling when you're like, I used to see you on my live server running around all the time. Like it's like a special kind of nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like it's
a shared
not
memory.
Yeah, it is. And it's like unusual, right? Cuz like you can like, go back and play like Super Mario and stuff if you played that when you were a kid and you'll get hit with some nostalgia or whatever, but it's different when it's like with other people. You know what I mean? It's unique. And I don't know of any other thing you can really replicate that in real life, like or outside SWG or gaming in general.
So are you role playing as Osmongold, Gozer?
What? No. Oh, come on, man. No.
It's not me. It's not my joke. You might have saw me like laugh out loud earlier in the server. Where were the comments in there?
Spot on. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
That's good.
The chat was like, "Is this Asmongold?"
You can maybe make some money off that, huh?
Yeah, you could make like an Asmongold impersonator stream.
God, I'd hate myself, but yeah, I could do it.
I would be okay with it. You know what? Like, I'll count his pocketbook for him. Like, so
yeah.
He's not doing too bad right now. So
yeah, I am Osmongold.
Right, there you go, guys.
Yeah.
A lot of the comments are pretty much talking about what you guys are saying, how it's really weird, and I'll straight up read the quote. So weird how different servers had the same but different stories. All of our stories are pretty much the same. We find each other, and with your powers combined. So
yeah, it's always fun hearing about old legends from different servers and different stories. They all kind of share the same theme, but
For me, it's kind of proof of SWG's proper game design, right? Like the original game designer wanted a socially interconnected environment, and I think the game does a good job of creating that type of environment.
It really does. I think, like, needing doctors to buff you and entertainers, and then the crafting aspect, it really does make it like a whole uh, social experience, unlike any other MMO I've played. The way I describe it to other people who play games is like, I'm like, just imagine if the guys at the power company didn't show up to work for like a week, how you would not have any power at your house. That's exactly how SWG is. If no one shows up to be that armor smith, the whole server suffers because no one can do high end combat or combat in general because they have no armor. And then because there's no one doing combat, doctors don't have anybody to like heal or buff, and neither do entertainers. So it's like if one component is missing, everything goes to crap. And that's really unique, and I cannot think of another MMO like that at all.
And to double down on that, that's one of the great things specifically about Restoration 3. It seems like they've brought that back. It started obviously with Basilisk. And then Basilisk kind of, I don't want to say it died, but it's dead. It's in the cloner, Legends took that away, and now we have it again in Restoration 3. So let me ask you, how has your experience in Restoration 3, both of you, been so far?
Do you want to start, Gozer?
you can go, man.
All right. Well, I've had a great time. Yeah, I've had a wonderful time. I think one of my fondest memories was kind of moving from test center into that initial launch. I know for a lot of people that was probably a frustrating time, but that's actually one of my favorite times. And the reason for that is kind of how we all kind of came together, right? So we were prepped, we were ready, we had a plan, and we had people in place for different roles, and we rushed really hard. It was, for me, it was kind of a frontiering experience. We knew that we wanted New Imperium up. We knew exactly where we wanted it. We knew the 16 houses we wanted to get immediately, and all the crafting professions we needed to set up. And so we just went gangbusters with harvesters, and there were server crashes. You guys know all the issues that we experienced, but I think the adversity of it actually was really fun for our group early on. And then after that, it's been kind of in phases for our guild. We've been really trying to be organized and try to have weekly events and trying to move towards different projects and operations. So I've had a really great time of interfacing with so many different professions and players and backgrounds. I really play this game for that kind of organizational social element. And I've just had a blast just getting to meet so many cool people and help so many new players too.
And Gozer?
Yeah, experience so far has been great. The guild started off real fast, and we keep getting recruits even to this day, people wanting to join in. And we've been having a lot of fun with the different rebel guilds. I wanted to start like one of my favorite parts of the game, even though I'm terrible at it, is the GCW. And so far we've gotten a nice rivalry going on, healthy, with the rebels. I mean, most of the time we lose, but we're having a lot of fun with them. Shout out to Rats. They're a great rebel guild. And I don't know, this community's been top notch so far, interacting with them in game and everything.
Yeah.
And it's also been fun because I always wanted some of the NGE content in the old game. I love the pre-CU, all holy love for it, but it's just kind of bare bones, and this finally adds a lot of meat to this game. Nice little package.
Yeah. That's one of the things I think that makes Resto special, is not only is it like the CU, right? There's no vanilla CU server out there. I hear they're being worked on, but the CU itself is it's pretty much just as bare bones as pre-CU is. They only have like the addition of Kashyyyk, and that's not comparing the CU to like live pre-CU. I mean, that is comparing CU to live pre-CU because they both had JTL, but there really wasn't much added by Kashyyyk. The thing that kept a lot of players active, I think, back during the CU was like the other players and PvP and rivalries and crafting and all this other stuff. Also, the CU back then didn't last long, and also the emulator Basilisk itself for pre-CU has lasted longer than both pre-CU and CU combined. So it's good to see that like Resto has adapted a lot of the good things that they brought in the NGE, like the Chronicler system. I've never messed with it, but I've seen, like, I've gone to Claw's City and I see like those red Imperial guards outside the cantina, and I'm like, whoa, 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 what is this? What is this? This looks fancy. I've never seen this before. And they just added so much like player control over their like sandbox experience. Like they really emphasize the sandbox, giving them the tools to do events. Like I've seen, like, I remember I was out in the wilderness of Karelia one day and I just saw like a random Acklay just standing out there. I was like, what the fuck? What's an Acklay doing out here? And then I realized it was like a storyteller event, you know? And someone had dropped one out there, and I was like, oh, okay. That's cool. So,
You know, the chronicle loot that we all like despise and hate? Great for the role-playing aspect of it. And so as we know, your guild is it's a role-play guild. You have kind of like a stranglehold, if you will, on the role-playing aspects. You said you've been growing. So, what is a day in the life of a member of your guild?
That is a great question. So one of the tricky things about making a guild on an emulator like this too, right, is we really wanted to be inclusive. We really wanted to, we wanted to be kind of casual, right? Because we realized that a lot of us have jobs now, right? And so we're not able to invest as much time here or there. So we've really leaned into being a casual Imperial Roleplay guild. I like to take inspiration for like the first time I did D&D, right? Like I really relied on my friends to be nice and help me through and teach me through the process. And so with the size of our guild, we have people who are really hyper into role play and like they are in character all the time. And then we have others who they're out of character most of the time, but they're interested in role play. And so they'll show up to events and they'll kind of have kind of a new space where they can kind of test it out, try it out. I would say a day in the life of our guild members is going to Discord, utilizing the organization in there. We have a couple different divisions in our guild, right? So we have a crafting leader, we have a combat leader, a space leader, so on and so forth. And then usually it's just hooking up with that lieutenant and trying to get help, right? And then when we do those activities, we try to role play. So if you're getting a Jedi Starfighter, like we try to be in character. We don't just, if anyone is, no one's going to do it wrong, so to speak, but if anyone's a little bit less in character than others, that's okay. We just kind of roll with it and try to model it so other people can figure out how to kind of try new things with roleplay.
So, Hsskor, you're the guild leader, so I imagine that you interact with other guild leaders to create events that you say. And I'd like to talk about those events shortly. So, give me your interactions with other guild leaders. Are you in role? Are you playing a role?
Am I playing a role? Yeah, I mean, I think for events, I mean, we usually set them up with some sort of intention behind that, right? So one of the most recent examples was we did a PvP event, and it was quasi roleplay, right? Like we were assaulting a rebel base on Rory, and so we set up AT-ATs and AT-STs and stormtroopers, and we wanted to give that roleplay feel to it. I knew going into that event we were not going to win. So I knew we were going to play the role of the stormtrooper that dies. But I was hopeful. I was going to see what we could do and try to push the letter. But a lot of the times, when I make these events or when I try to coordinate with other guild leaders, I'm really just trying to engage our members and then members of the greater restoration community, right? Like I'm just trying to create opportunities where people can hang out with us. If they love us, they can consider our guild, but if not, they can just enjoy that our guild is a partner here on the server.
Yeah, our for Weird, I have passed off guild leading duties to Haley Storm, and Haley Storm never ever breaks role. We're not a role playing guild, however, Haley Storm role player. So when Haley is interacting with you, has it ever broken character? Like, give me some background on your interactions with Haley, if
No,
any.
I don't think they have. I think, it's funny too. We're in kind of an isolated bubble. It's so weird. We try to reach out with other guilds too, and I've seen Haley quite a few times through my travels through Tatooine or over on Dantooine too as well. But thus far, I mean, we have good interactions. She's not a rebel scum, right? So we don't really engage with her as directly. She might be rebel. I don't even know, but she hasn't pulled the blaster on me yet.
She's
Definitely
she's in that
appeared.
video we made too. She's a dancer in that video during beta.
Oh, that's right.
She
That's
was
right. She was in the
really,
video.
yeah, she's really nice about me just rolling up, being like, "Hey, can I record you dancing?"
That's right.
That's amazing. I actually wanted to ask, how do you guys deal with death in role playing?
Ignore it.
Yeah,
You
you
ignore
come
it.
back as a clone, you're all right.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
I
You
mean,
clone-
really, there's like hardcore role players out there that'll like they die. I don't know if any run the server. There's also sometimes there's like a rule, if you die, you don't remember. You're not supposed to remember like the last hour of your life or something. So you don't know who killed you, so you can't come back and like, you killed me, you're the murderer.
Well,
But we don't really get too
yeah,
deep
I,
into that.
I would say too. This is kind of where with role play, right? And anyone who's played D&D knows this. House rules, right? And so you can kind of respond to that however you want. I've role played with people who wanted to die before, and so like we set up an event where they would die. Like we did an execution on a rebel back on live. That was pretty cool. Like they were leaving the game, and that's how they went out. And I've also had times where it's like, okay, we killed you, but like I just assume we knocked you out, right? And then till next time.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. That's cool though. Regarding the RP events, there is one time I'm down to like really RP, and I did this on Basilisk. I made a race war, and I basically had other people make guilds of different races. So like we had an all Bothan guild. That was the one I was in because I love Bothans. And then we had like an all Zabrak guild, all human guild, so on and so forth. And then we just all guild warred each other. And so there's like what, 8 races in the game or 10? There's potential for like 10-way PvP. And so I definitely want to recreate that on Restoration. And then like the trash talk that happens in between there is all like related to Star Wars trash talk, like
It's canonical trash talk.
exactly, it's canonical trash talk, and that's like how I like to keep it. And that was like, it was super fun. It was a blast actually. I had the most fun doing that. And I definitely want to like recreate that and see if you guys would be down and get some help
Yeah,
doing that.
I think it sounds, racy, so to speak. But I love that sort of stuff. Gozer and I I guess we were in a species war with Trandoshan versus.
I would definitely
Wookiees.
rename it because the name was controversial. They're like race wars. I don't think that's a good name.
Yeah, it's a little controversial. I mean, you do what you gotta do to promo it, right? But no, I think it's a great idea. I think that the species lore is a really fun part about this game, right? If you, like you mentioned, you love Bothans, there's some Bothan paintings out there I'm sure that you covet, and there's a lot of people that play like that really enjoy kind of the species of the character they chose. We have a Thorian in our guild who's totally into it. And truth be told, I think there's a deep amount of Star Wars lore that someone can find and just bring into their role play right away. It's an easy way to jump into it.
It is. It is super easy. That's what I was doing. I was like going on Wikipedia, and I was looking up like all the race information so I could talk trash appropriately, you know?
Go back to Botha Y.
Yeah, exactly. So that was super fun. And then you can have all the characters like talk in their own languages and stuff like that. I used to tell people like I was playing like a human character, and I would just tell people like speak basic or don't even talk to me. Like, and then they would try to group with me and like teach me like their language. I said no. You're going to speak basic.
Pro tip here for anyone wanting to roleplay with languages. You can probably Google it. I'll Google it too. But there's a way to unlearn languages. So if you accidentally or just someone pushed it on you early in game and you trained it all, you can actually unlearn that. You can even unlearn basic. So if you're a Trandoshan, you can exclusively speak Dosh.
Seriously, you can unlearn basic. Wow.
You can. Yeah, and then someone has to teach it to you.
That's amazing.
It doesn't effectively do anything, but it's funny.
Speaking of role playing, if I end up playing the role of what is that? The Twister, we have a tornado coming. That's like out and about like here.
Okay.
So if I play a role in the movie Twister, I loved you all in a weird way. So
all right.
Well, stay safe.
Just giving everybody in advance, if you see me go off, it's because I've lost power or something along that line. So there you go.
Good luck.
Proceed.
No, go
I'll
ahead.
be flying around, ending up in like a land with little dwarves and wicked and sweet witches pretty soon. So
good lord,
okay,
the chat is over the top.
yeah. Let's catch up on some of this.
We had slave auctions on Valken. Valacin?
I don't know how it's pronounced, but
so a race war is tame. Or just play a Twy and speak in Leku. Hardly anyone knows it. Gospel, it's a species, not a race. A race is like Asian or Caucasian. A species is like a Wookiee or Bothan.
That's a good point. Thank you.
So species are a greater difference than race?
Yeah.
Many Bothans died in the making of this species war.
Okay.
It's like a tiger and a human.
Okay. That makes sense.
Right.
I'm not a very biological guy.
Or like a Trandoshan and their subspecies of a Saurian.
I've never even heard that. They have a subspecies?
You can briefly see it in the original Star Wars New Hope. You can see it in the Cantina scene.
I'll have to go look that up. A Saurian.
Which one is it?
He looks just like a Trandoshan, but I think he has maybe 4 claws. They messed something up, so they're like, "Oh, he's different. He's not a Trandoshan, but he's close."
Just write it into everything's whatever you want it to be in Star Wars nowadays. So
we have a guildie actually that's what he plays. He role plays a subspecies.
Oh wow.
I've been rocking Trando for God, I gotta be careful there. I have been playing a Trandoshan ever since 2003 as a wee one, and so I will never not have a Trandoshan. It's just when I see Bosk walk into the Mos Eisley Cantina, that's a special moment for us Trandoshans because gloves. I think you could relate when we couldn't wear gloves back in the day, and he'd walk in there, and it was a game changer.
Those were the super special gloves before you could wear gloves.
That's right, and a fun little quest line too.
Wait, there's a quest line associated with Bosk?
We're gonna totally bore your audience with this, but once upon a go, yeah, you still can in Resto. You can go talk to Bosk, take his quest. He gives you some gloves. They're okay. They're like plus 20, plus 40, I forget. You can get better stuff RE'd, but the point is, back in the day, a Trandoshan could actually wear those, whereas before they couldn't wear any gloves or boots.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if anybody wants to see my video that I did on this, it was a parody video, just pretty much making fun of the early days of Star Wars Galaxies. It was the Bosk episode. Go check it out, and I laughed at my own jokes a lot, so that's not that hard. though.
Okay, here's
So-
a good question because I actually wondered this how SVG managed to do it. It says, why are they an Imperial Trandoshan guild? Aren't the Imperials? You said racist, but it's actually xenophobic, right? Imperials are xenophobic
Yeah.
towards non-humans.
Well, for whatever reason, the Imperials were okay with the Trandoshans. I think the Trandoshans were excluded from the Republic. Is the
Yeah.
thing, and then the Imperials, liking the Trandoshans' brutal style, just used them as a puppet, and then the Trandoshans didn't really care who was racist or speciesist, and ran with it.
Yeah, the Senate seat switched basically. So prior to the end of the Clone Wars, Trandoshans did not have representation.
Oh, okay.
So the
Gotcha.
Empire is our savior.
I mean, you could argue we still don't. Right?
And I guess it's almost, if you also read like the Thrawn trilogy, there's like a species that
Yes.
kind of like the Trandoshans that the Empire found. They're badass fucking warriors, so they manipulated them into serving in their ranks. So there's
They're
like
like slicks or something. They call them
something, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
And Nogri too.
Nogri. That's the one I was talking about.
And they're super smart. Those guys were,
Yeah.
were very, very intelligent, which you don't associate that to like some walking slee stacks. That's the best Star Wars
Elf.
book series like ever.
Thrawn?
All right,
I've-
you guys seem like you're well read on the Star Wars Galaxies books and all. Okay, who would win in a battle between Chewbacca and Bosk? No, all variables are implied here.
I mean, I'm going to ignore the current canon that I've read,
Oh,
and I'll just say Bosk.
I'm gonna say Chewie just because I love Chewie.
Are we going to start?
I mean, I don't know.
start up our old rivalry here again?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I might jump ship, get my Wookiees unite.
This is a hot topic that I've brought up before, and people get pissed at the notion that Bosk would beat Chewbacca. They're like, well, hand to hand, Chewbacca would just rip his arms off. Why would he be hand to hand? This is a slaver, man. Come on. So,
and don't do Trandoshans. So I am like the least lore knowledgeable. Game mechanics, I got you. Lore, I'm lacking. So can't Trandoshans actually regenerate limbs and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Really?
if
Chewie rips
Chewbacca,
him off, I can just right back.
yeah.
Well, it takes a while to grow, but yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
If he lives for another day,
Yeah.
if he escapes, he'll be fine for the next fight. Whereas if he does that to Chewie ain't gonna regenerate. He's gonna have to get some cybernetics.
Mm-mm.
That's crazy. Man, this is actually fun. This is actually a really fun episode.
Educational episode here.
It is.
educational. So let's create a little controversy here. Let's pick it up a notch. Are we good? We gonna pick it up a notch?
Yes.
We've talked about the battle between Trandoshans and Wookiees now. Okay. So let's talk about the battle between role-playing guilds on Restoration 3. We have Mando and we have Claw. Who's gonna win between the two guilds?
Well, Mando's always been stuck in Deathwatch bunker, so you can barely see them.
I'm going to be careful with my words because I'm a bit of a politician when it comes to speaking with other guilds and guild leaders. So clearly, it'd be a stalemate.
I don't run our guild anymore, so I won't be. Let's just call it what it is. Yeah, everyone's saying the same thing anyways. Will Mando leave Deathwatch bunker? Question mark.
No.
I'm sure they will eventually, right? Once they're all suited up, then they'll do that. They're a pretty cool group. I've joined them for one role play event thus far. They had kind of a dueling arena type setup going on. They did some duels and role played it out for the title of honorable victor, right? And they're a cool guild. They've got some great PvPers in it. One of the things that's kind of funny about Claw is we are, we're an Imperial roleplay guild. We've got some PvPers, but we're not necessarily a PvP guild, even though we've got a lot of overts all the time. We're just encouraging a lot of our newer members to try it out most of the time. So I don't know. I think if we have the numbers, we'll take Mando out, but Mando is kind of a guild of elite fighters, and I think a lot of their guys are PvP focused.
Yeah, I think they are. I had to run from one yesterday because I was like, I was streaming last night, and then I ended the stream, and I was just chilling, and I just left my character there. I was alt tab doing something else, and then I've got two monitors, so I was looking at this monitor, had the game on this monitor, and one of the Mando guys was hunting me, and he just had his bomb droid out. I was like, oh shit! And so I started running, and then the bomb droid didn't like get me or anything, but he knocked me down, and then like I couldn't kill him, but he couldn't kill me either. So it was kind of a stalemate. But I felt like he was like way tougher, like more geared than I am, and I was like, oh damn, I gotta brush up on I gotta catch up. This is bad. So yeah, those Mando guys are actually pretty tough.
You spend a couple weeks in Deathwatch Bunker, and you learn a thing or two about your spec, right? You learn how to optimize it.
Yeah. So he was pretty strong.
Yeah.
It's funny,
Yeah.
A couple months.
we have a few people in our guild too who are they're Mandalorian focused, right? So they're Imperials, but they love Mandalorian. They all love all things Mandalorian culture, and they're working on getting their gear and getting all that. So I'm actually to try to combat the threat of Mando Guild. We're trying to work on implementing an Imperial Super Commando program so we can get our own Mando fighters ready.
Oh, okay. So
Nice.
there's an actual storyline within the guild.
Yeah. So we're calling it Operation Conquer Dawn, but it's slow moving because we're not rushing into these things. This game is meant to be played over the long term. But my goal is to get kind of a subunit in the guild. So we have all these subunits, right? We got our pilots, we got our crafters, etc. We have a couple guys who are really Mando focused. So I want to get them in some nice white Mando for events and things of that nature. So we can do some role play for Imperial Super Commandos, which is a part of the new canon.
Yo, that sounds awesome. That's like you know what it kind of reminds me of? Kind of like reminds me of like an RTS where you have like different types of units and like different structures and stuff. It's kind
You
of like
have
that.
to with a guild our size. It's at first when we first started, I just chat up with Gozer, right? Like, hey, what are we doing today? There's a couple of us here on Test Center. Let's roll around. Let's recruit people. Let's BSF. But at this point in the guild, I mean, we're at the 100+ mark, and so we've really had to divvy out responsibilities to get things moving forward effectively.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool. I like that.
So you've mentioned a couple times so far during the show that you've talked about Dungeons and Dragons role playing out of game. You've talked about role playing in game. Have you ever had them both converge? Role playing in game, like with a dice,
Gozer, you
like
want to take this for a jump
Dungeons and
in?
Dragons in
Well,
game.
I haven't done that. I know it's a way of doing combat if you don't want to do the meta combat, if you just want to role play, there is a way with dice and emotes to simulate a fight. I think the problem is sometimes role players either aren't really, really great at combat or someone has super gear, so fighting them is worthless. So if you want to switch it up, use dice and emotes. But I have not done that in this game.
It takes two willing parties and a lot of communication. It's good over Discord, right? If you can do it with some buddies, then you've got a good shot at it. But we have all the tools in game, right? We have all the different dice, D20, D12, D6s. It's all craftable, and so I have done that before, and it does work good if you have someone who, maybe they want to role play that they are a really cool fighter, but maybe they're level 1, right? And they're new to SWG and they don't know how to level, but they love role playing. That's probably a good environment where you could use that. Or if you're with a buddy and you want to make a cool, badass fight scene, that's not just a knockdown sniper shot, right? Then you can really role play out that fight scene and just use the dice to kind of guide how things go.
That's pretty cool.
Right, yeah, because the fighting in this game can be kind of like unrealistic, just running around in circles for 20 minutes, trying to knock each other down.
Line of sighting.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of
Yeah.
takes away if you're trying to do a story or anything like that.
I mean, technically, like, line of sight is like taking cover. You know what
Sure.
I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
hiding behind barrels and stuff, not to get shot. But it doesn't look as cool.
Exactly.
It doesn't look nearly as cool. It looks not great.
Hey, that's why you use roll shot. It looks super cool.
Roll
Right,
shot is
yeah.
actually
And
not a
shot
bad
is just a
skill.
super cool name.
Yeah.
So this is about the part of the show where I interrupt all of the good stuff that's going on, and I tell everybody to wait for 30 seconds and say, hey, if you don't want to play right now Star Wars Galaxies, and if you do like MMO sandbox games, you should consider Albion Online, the first true cross-platform MMO. It offers intense PvP, territory claims, unique PvE experiences. Albion Online, play for free at albiononline.com. Albion Online, tell your story. All right, there you go.
All right, this is the part of the show where I advertise Claw. Please join Claw. We're a great guild. We've got New Imperium set on Naboo. It's a wonderful city. We are engaging Operation Warmantle right now, which in that operation, we're just trying to equip all of our new players. So if you can craft E11s, stim packs, basic foods, we don't care if it's mid-level, low-level quality. We're just trying to gear up all our guys. So if you want to start a new journey with a welcoming Imperial guild, New Imperium is a great place to do it.
Yes.
All right, that is
Yeah.
$25 per 1,000 views. So, we can role play for credits. So I'm just kidding. Awesome.
And
Awesome.
like we said before, we're a roleplay guild, but we are really casual on that front. If you want to join, you're not exactly a role player. I mean, the basic thing we roleplay is that we're Imperials, and I mean, if that's what you want to play, then come on over.
I have never role played before, with the exception of during live back at the 2-year period where I was actually really good at PvP before they changed some things up on me. Anybody ever see Strange Brew, the movie Strange Brew? Anyways,
Never even
there's
heard of it.
it's like a Saturday Night Live type of thing. There's an area where they're like playing Star Wars type of characters, and they defeat this stupid little character. And he says, "The power of the Force stopped you, hosers." So I spent like a pretty good 2-year period of pretty much just building the perfect Doug McKenzie style emote and build like that. And that was actually super fun because people knew what I was doing, and it's a lot better than teabagging.
Yeah, and that's role play. Just to kind of jump on Gozer's point, we are a role play guild, but we have so many people that don't role play that just want to do it on events, right? Or just want to like dip their toe in it here or there, and that's a great way to approach it. Like, just try to have fun, try to be someone in this game that is interesting and unique, and have fun with it.
I have a question.
Hit me.
When you guys first started playing Star Wars Galaxies, did you guys how old are you guys, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 30.
I'm also 30.
33.
Okay, so you guys were about the same age as me when you guys started SWG. Did you guys think that you're gonna role play, or did you discover role playing in SWG?
I think I wanted to roleplay. I didn't know what that was or if it was a thing, but once I got in game and saw people doing it, and there was a lot of guilds too recruiting before the game launched that were all oriented to that. I know Starsider was the unofficial RP server, but yeah, once there was a great community on that server, so once getting in there, it's easy to fall into.
Gospel.
What?
Do you remember when a lot of us invaded that role play funeral? Everyone was over, and we all took down all the overts during a funeral that they were having.
I didn't do that, but
Awful.
I remember that happening on Loca.
That was pretty
sounds
bad.
awful. Although I guess don't be overt, but
Yeah, red equals dead.
Yeah,
and all
well,
that.
no, that was they never were not over. That was
were
the
they
thing.
expecting it at least? Hopefully they were. I don't know.
They made a big event of it on the forums too. Like, how would you not expect?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wait,
I felt guilty about it.
were you Rebel or were you Imperial?
I was Rebel.
that explains
And the reason
it.
why I felt guilty,
Yeah.
they didn't record
Rebel
it.
terrorists crashing funerals.
Dude, that would be instant gold, I think, for our YouTube channel. Oh boy! All right,
man.
yeah.
So Hsskor, did you join SWG like knowing about role playing, or did you like get into role playing once you were in SWG, or?
Yeah, I just stumbled into it. I was a total noob. I remember my starter planet was Restus, and I literally just grinded with the Imperial Recruiter and the mission terminal that's so close to the edge of the city, just because I wanted a stormtrooper. I really wanted an ATST, but I quickly learned I wasn't capable of getting it alone. And so I was there for like weeks, and then eventually another player came through Restus finally, and stumbled upon me, and they were a ranger, and I started kind of like apprenticing under them. I mean, I was a huge noob. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had the guide, and I read through it all the time, but I was so young, I couldn't stay focused on anything. And so this new player, he kind of took me under his wing, or sorry, this veteran player took me under his wing, and I just started harvesting with him and rangering with him until he brought me to his guild on Naboo, and they had a base, and I kind of fell into an Imperial crowd, and then just started picking up role play after that.
Gotcha.
So you like he was Uncle Owen, and you were like, "Damn it, I want to go to Tachi Station."
I just wanted to get off Rory. I didn't know I wanted to get off Rory, but he showed me a whole new galaxy.
Yeah, I played on like Talos for months when I first started because I was like a dumb kid, didn't realize how to do stuff. And like MMOs are like big and complex and stuff, and so when you give it to a kid, it's like, well, especially SWG, right? Like SWG doesn't hold your hand at all. So once you give that to a kid and they're like trying to play a game, they're like they don't understand, like, oh, there's other planets? Oh, wow, this is amazing.
But you know what? Now it's a cool memory, right? Like Talos is your home world now at this point.
Yeah.
And there's so many players that have a similar experience like that, where even though they weren't productive in the early game, more likely than not, they hopefully still had a good time and built some cool memories.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
That is so true. Okay, this is something I never really thought. I never feel comfortable unless I am on Tatooine. Like if I'm moving around and doing something in game, I'm okay. But if I'm doing something slow, I can't. I have to be on Tatooine. That's where I started. That's all I really ever knew is freaking Tatooine. So
It's your home.
I suppose so. So I have a couple questions for you. Obviously you do a bunch of combat. What is your builds?
What is my build? Are you trying to uncover the Claw PvP secrets? I mean, we have a hard enough time as it is getting together.
Yes.
All right. Well, because I'm so transparent and so kind, I will share it because I'm pretty excited. I actually just switched it. So I've always been within the scout line. Like I started as a scout and I became a ranger, right? And then fell into squad leadering. And so for this server, it was really clear to me that I wanted to stay within a squad leader role. Because one, it would fit the role play, but it would just fit the guild need. I knew I'd be on a lot, coordinating events, getting things going, and so I just knew I could get a huge value add out of that by leaning into squad leader. So that stayed in my build permanently. And recently, I've hopped around, but I've settled on pikeman squad leader, mainly so I can wield the Trandoshan hunting lance and beat people down with a skull.
That's awesome.
Yeah, right now I'm trying out fencer and combat medic at the same time, just leveling that up. And I have a tailor / armor smith, but armor smith is scary as fuck, so I haven't really done much with it.
I thought about doing that Fencer CM build. I thought about respecing to that recently because it seems like it'd be pretty good.
It might be. I'm having fun with it so far. I just it's weird that like combat medic has a bunch of like 5 meter abilities. Like you got to be right next to them. It's almost like they want you to be melee. I mean, you got like 3 ranged, or I don't know how many ranged, but it's a real pain in the ass to like do a paralyze, and you have to be right next to them.
Yeah, it's It's a good combo, I think, with like Binding Strike and then Hemorrhage that stacks, so they just can't regen action, and then you just beat on them for fun.
Yeah.
Nice. So what do you say, Gospel? You want to do our top 5?
Yeah, did you come up with the top 5?
Nope.
Dude, I told Hsskor, I messaged and said, Weird usually comes up with the top 5.
Well, I guess we could do what we were gonna do like last week or something before stuff got pissy in the stream chat. Okay, let's do our top. What was it?
YouTubers? YouTube channels?
Okay, yes. What is our top 3 YouTubers? The channels that you guys follow?
Yeah.
And we're not asking for you guys to say us or anything like that. In fact, please don't. But Gozer's definitely Onsman Gold. But
All right, I have at least 2 in mind that I really enjoy. I'll try to think of a third one, but I'm a gamer. I'm a Star Wars fan, and obviously I love Star Wars Galaxies, but I'm a total gamer too, and so I like gaming channels quite a lot. I'm a huge fan of all things Funhouse. I really enjoyed Sugar Pine 7 when they were out, and I would also say My Brother and Me, the guys who they had kind of a D&D campaign going for a while, and I really enjoyed that.
okay.
I don't have any favorite YouTube pages.
Really?
Except
That
for
is-
viewers. Yeah.
What?
Make something up. Jesus Christ. Right, Gospel, what's your favorite?
Hsskor Dominion. Wait, hold on.
Oh, yeah,
My
sure.
favorite
Ours?
channel it's actually Hsskor Dominion.
It's your favorite YouTube channel's what?
That's definitely my fave. Yeah.
Oh, Hsskor Dominion. Is that your channel?
Yeah, it's where we would post on some stuff. I won't share it here too. I've got another. Good luck finding it for anyone out there that wants to search it. We'll see if my guild hits me up for it later. But I also did a philosophy talk show in my prior life
Oh.
over YouTube.
There now we're talking. Like, hey, I'm not all like trying to be all crazy all the time. You want to talk about philosophy? I'll get into that.
Let's tease that, right? So next time I'm on this podcast, which obviously Claw's so important to the server, Gozer and I are going to be back. But next time we come back, let's talk philosophy and Star Wars, huh?
Philosophy and
All
Star
right.
Wars. I'm down. I'm gonna brush up on my lore. I'm super down. Let's do it. Let's talk about.
All right, that actually sounds like a lot of fun. That does sound like a lot of fun. Give us something, Gospel. Give us your top 3. I know you. This is what you really wanted last time.
Oh yeah, my top 3. So I'm huge into video games. So my first, like my number 1 favorite, is he reviews a lot of games, and his name is Seth Tzintak. I don't know if y'all have seen that guy, but he makes a lot of obscure references to like history, and it's sort of offensive a little edgy, but it's really good content. He's got almost 1 million views, and his he reviews like things that are like kind of like RimWorld, where you have like these massive worlds and different characters and stuff like that, and or classic games that are like have goofy mechanics, and so that'd be my number 1. And then G-Man Lives. He's an Australian guy who makes a lot of content reviewing like classic FPS games for the most part. Some of them he does like regular FPS games, and then a third. I can't even think of a third, but that's my top 2 easily.
Dude, you have 3. I mean, come on.
I
You were
definitely
throwing
do
them at
have
me like
3.
left and right when we were talking about it.
Yeah, I definitely do have 3. It's hard to say which all they are though. Mandalore Gaming. Mandalore Gaming also reviews games as well. Like sometimes they're classic games, sometimes they're new games. Like he did stuff on like Total Warhammer 2 and what's that Druids game? The adventure game? Mystery of the Druids.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reviewed that. It's like an hour and 20 minutes long. It's excellent content. That's
Way better than my
Gaming.
review. Let's just say that. And probably better than the game.
It is better. The review is better than the game. I will say that. Yeah. So that was my 3.
All right.
I watch a lot of
my
game review
third-
stuff.
My third, I'm an avid history guy. Freaking love history. Oversimplified. Anybody familiar with Oversimplified?
I am a little, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's just kind of funny way of teaching history. Like
This video.
yeah, just like funny aspects of American and any other history, or really a lot of other things, and they just say it in a very stupid way. They make you feel stupid when they're done, especially in the way that they say it. It's super funny stuff. My number 2 would be the Warp Zone. Love parody videos. So the Warp Zone, lots of gaming parody stuff and pop culture. In fact, I may or may not have ripped off some of their sketches, pieces of their sketches for some of my other channel. Yeah, but if you hear me, guys, great. You heard me. That's fantastic. You have like 12 million followers, and why are you following me with 1,700? Okay, and number 1 is Cinema Sins. Like everything wrong with every movie that comes out, and again, funny, quick way. So fantastic.
That actually sounds a lot like Red Letter Media with their. Have you guys seen the Red Letter Media review of Star Wars prequels?
Yeah, that's a classic one. Yeah.
Yeah, that is super good. Anyways, Weird. Was there anything else you wanted to touch up on? Ask about?
No, I've touched up on a lot. Hey, I mean, we're talking about parody videos. Why don't you go over to my my new channel, Weird Parody Adventure, for pop culture parody videos. We are on IGN, making Star Wars videos for IGN, or more specifically, Boba Fett versus Disney, 4-part series coming in the end of September. Yeah, so go do that. I touched on it. All right.
Cool.
All right.
Good touch.
I guess we're gonna wrap it up then. Hsskor, Gozer, do you have anything you guys want to say?
Yeah, as you know, as we come to a close here, I just want to honestly, for those that are listening that are players of Restoration, thank them for playing with Claw and trying to join us for all the things we've been trying to do. You know, I hope we've been a positive impact on everyone's gaming experience, and I want to coordinate. If you have stuff you want to do, whether it's PvP, role play, crafting, we're really trying to get into crafting right now with our projects and trying to up that. Please reach out and join us. And final plug too. For Friday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, we do our Friday night social in New Imperium. My wife Kyber, she runs the cantina there and usually does a lot of the setup. And so everyone's welcome. Just be on leave if you're not Imperial.
That sounds good.
Yeah, we'll join you with that. Talk to Haley, because she's putting together stuff like all of the time. So or myself, like in game.
Yeah,
so
we'll reach out. Let's coordinate.
Yeah, and by the way, we'll get Sky's been trying to put together a bunch of stuff like with us too. Actually, get some guild events type of things going on too. So that'd be real fun.
Gozer, anything you'd like to say before we wrap it up here?
Just big shout out to our guild members. Thanks for watching, if you guys are, and all the other players on the server, especially the rebels. Thanks for coming out and like fighting us. It's been fun. It's been civil, and keep coming, y'all.
And
May the scorekeeper be with you.
Dude,
/spit.
/spit. That's one thing I like about the Trandoshans. When you kill somebody, it actually has like unique PvP text for it, so that's pretty good. The scorekeeper. All right, guys. Well, I'm Gospel. We got Weird Gaming Adventure. We got Gozer, and we got Hsskor. And we are out. It's been a pleasure speaking with you guys, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.